Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bexar County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Motion to revoke probation docket. It is approximately 10:10 a.m. on Thursday, the 12th of August, 2021. For all cases representing the state as assistant criminal district attorneys will be Mr. Guillermo Flores and Ms. Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSCD will be Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes,
Susan?
sir, I do.
Thank you. The cases I have set for today are cause number 645-288, State of Texas versus Steve Buckley. Cause 633-223, State of Texas versus Stephen Aleman. Mr. Buckley is represented by Ms. Alma Benavides. Mr. Aleman is represented by Mr. Rahim Mamori. Cause number 661158, State of Texas versus Catherine Gonzalez, represented by Mr. Bob Hicks.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Cause number 652949, State of Texas versus Christopher Bowe, represented by Mr. Trey Porter. Cause number 641356, State of Texas versus Jonathan Flores, represented by Ms. Lisa Voigt. Cause number 647996, State of Texas versus Damon Galindo, represented by Mr. Michael Zamora, and cause number 650834, State of Texas versus Tony Alameda, represented by Mr. Roy Barrera Jr. At this time, let's start with cause 633223, State of Texas versus Stephen Aleman. Mr. Mamori, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, we are.
This is a motion to revoke community supervision. The first document I need you to identify your signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both Mr. Aleman's and Mr. Mamori's signature on it. Mr. Aleman, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Press the space bar.
And is Mr. Aleman on? I hear from Mr. Mamori. I got you, sir. You need to undo your microphone. Mr. Aleman is turned off for some reason. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you.
Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Aleman?
Yes, it is. That's
Thank
the one
you.
that he just showed me.
And Mr. Mamori, as attorney for Mr. Aleman, is this your signature on this document, sir?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Mr. Aleman, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Mamori, as attorney for Mr. Aleman, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. My understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate, Mr. Mamori?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay.
A witness.
And Mr. Aleman, in cause 633223, on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Judge, on the violations, if I can speak for him, Judge.
Sure, please.
Please.
On condition 14, failed to work 36 hours, Judge, he pleads true on that. On the more important one, condition 15, failed to comply with smart start device. Judge, that is true with an explanation.
Okay.
On failure to complete the DWI intervention, he pleads not true. He states to me that he has completed that. On the CATS completion, that is true. On the victim impact panel, that is not true. He says he has completed that.
Okay, let me see if I get this straight.
You know what? When this argument happened, I told her to leave the house, and her son stayed with me. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mamori, and actually, Mr. Aleman, I apologize. We're getting background noises from the jail, which is kind of normal. If you turn your microphone off, unless I'm actually asking you a question, and then you turn it back on and off again, that will probably save us some background noise.
Okay, can anybody point me to alt?
That's perfect. Okay. Mr. Mamori, my understanding is that Mr. Aleman is going to plead true with an explanation to number 14 and 15. And we have several 14s and 15s. For the purposes of the record, I'm going to label the first one in the order of succession, 14A, 15A, and then 14B, 15B, that sort of thing.
Yes, Judge.
So is he pleading to both 14A, which alleges failure to complete 36 hours of community service, and Let's see what else we got. I guess that is the only 14. So 15A would be skipped or failed to submit 4 breath samples.
Yes, Your Honor.
15A and 15B failed to submit 7 breath samples. And 15C would be failed to submit 1 breath sample.
Yes, Your Honor.
All those are true with an explanation. Would that be accurate?
You are correct, Judge.
All righty. And not true with an explanation to 16 and 18.
Yes, Your Honor.
Gotcha. Okay. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Aleman's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Aleman has reported as directed. We last saw him on July 30th of 2021. He has paid $113 towards his fees. He has a balance of $1,321, and he is delinquent $386. He has completed 36 of his 36 hours of community service. He's also completed victim impact panel and DWI intervention. And we have no proof of completion of the CATSNP program. He's had 4 negative drug tests. He's currently on Smart Start testing 4 times a day. As alleged on the motion, he has skipped 12 times. And since this motion was filed, he has skipped 6 additional times. This is his first violation report, first MTR. His prior arrests include reckless driving, DWI, assault, bodily injury, family, felony assault, family, second offense, sexual assault, driving while intoxicated, third, and then this one, the instant offense. His officer is recommending that his Smart Start mobile be increased to 6 times per day.
You say Mr. Aleman has a DWI third conviction? Is that what you're telling me?
It's showing that it's closed, so it may have been taken into consideration on this case, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there was an issue with that, if I may address the court.
Sure.
Judge, my understanding is that DWI third was out of the same offense date, and I don't quite understand it. The state was supposed to get back to me on that, but they didn't.
So there is no pending DWI third is my question. So there's
That's-
no
I
pending
know,
DWI
Judge.
third. It was
No, Your
probably
Honor.
either
Yeah.
reduced to this case we're on today or just dismissed outright. It's not there. So we don't need to worry
Yes,
about it. All right.
that's correct.
It was close.
The
close
elephant-
call, Your Honor.
The elephant in the room is why aren't we blowing into the machine timely? So I'd like to hear whoever knows the answer to that question.
Judge, I will address the court on the Smart Start device. Judge, my understanding is that Mr. Aleman was informed by his probation officer in April or May when he first started that he is allowed 3 skip on the Smart Start device per month. That is what he's told me. He said that at pretrial, he was told that he was allowed 10 skips a month. Based on that, Judge, he also works with concrete. He travels quite a bit. The Smart Start device is apparently when he sleeps, it's not convenient for him to provide the breath sample, Judge. Additionally, he was asking if it's possible the court can schedule him for abuse.
Well, let me start from the scratch. A, there is no prescribed number of tests that a defendant is allowed to miss on a Smart Start mobile device in either county court at law number 6 or the Bexar County Veteran Treatment Court. So if he was provided with that information, that was not correct information. The textbook solution is either A, jail in one hand, which will make sure we're not drinking, or a scram device in the other hand, which costs $350 a month, but we're not in jail, which is probably worth every penny under those circumstances. Is Mr. Aleman willing to go on a scram device for, say, 60 days with the understanding if he does well on that, we'll put him back on a Smart Start mobile device that maybe he will have learned to blow into the machine timely?
Judge, I will let Mr. Aleman address that. You want to unmute yourself, sir, and address the court?
Your microphone is turned off still, Mr. Aleman. There you go, sir. We got you.
Okay,
I
yes, sir.
expect
Okay.
it to be easy,
What was the question again?
but I mean, she's on our side. She switched up the story twice.
Hello?
Like you said, I didn't want.
Mr. Aleman, the question is, the judge will put you on scram device for 60 days. which
Okay.
is $350 a month or
She was already
jail time.
with
The scram device for 365 days.
And he told her, oh, well, since you're not.
No, it's for 2 months and $350 a month.
2 months, 350. Yes. And
And
it'll
Good
go
answer,
back,
sir.
it'll go back down to how many, test windows?
She accused me of cheating on her with.
The scram device
and that's why
monitors
she
you all the
got
time.
me
It's an
in
ankle
trouble
bracelet.
because I actually threw her
So
out
it
of the
monitors you
house.
24 hours a day. You don't have to do anything.
Perfect,
Drink
okay,
alcohol. If you
perfect.
drink
No
alcohol,
scheduling.
it'll go off and let us know.
Perfect.
All right,
Thank you.
sir?
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff like
Okay,
that.
and are you working, Mr. Alemán? What are you doing?
Self-employed, I freelance concrete, framing houses, whatever I can get my hands on.
And
COVID.
Mr. Mamori indicated you needed to travel. Is that just in Texas or just in, where would you need to travel? to work?
I've been on with my probation officer that I've been on her that I need a work permit because I have to call every time and need to be emailed that I need to go work out of town if it's out of Bexar County, and I haven't got back with that.
When we tell you out of town, where are you talking about? Dallas, Houston,
No, the furthest
California? Where are you talking about?
The furthest I go is maybe Houston. Corpus is relatively
Texas,
close.
correct?
Yes, in
In
Texas.
Texas.
I never leave Texas.
All right, here's the plan. I'm going to authorize you travel without having to check with your probation officer in Texas anytime you need to go, as long as you're on this scram bracelet. In 2
Okay.
months, if you do well and we take you off the scram bracelet, we'll talk again.
Yes.
All right, but
Thank
up to that point, that's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
Okay. State recommendation, please.
State agrees with the installation of the scram device.
Okay.
And also, Your Honor, just for the record, the DWI third was closed out and rejected by the felony prosecutor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let me do a little writing here and we'll get everybody out of here. How long have you been in jail, Mr. Alemán?
Since the midnight, between the 2nd and the 3rd at midnight, I turned myself in.
So like 6 days, 7 days?
I think it's 9 or 10 days, sir.
All right, that'll work.
Judge, being you are not going to require a travel permit for those 60 days, are you going to want him to do drug testing upon each return?
No, we're not going to worry about that aspect on this case because he's on a scram bracelet. I'm not worried about that angle at this point in time.
They don't use drugs like I do.
When he gets back and we take him off of scram, if that really happens, hopefully it will, and we put him back on a smart start, then we'll go back to individual permission for out of town. Over when he has to stay overnight is kind of what I'm looking at. If he has go
Okay.
somewhere, come back same day, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Will I get violated for that? Because I was told I will, even if I'm
You're
just
not-
going for.
As of right now, you're clean on anything we know that you allegedly did or didn't do. So
Okay.
we're starting over from today on all this stuff.
Mr. Alemán,
Yes, ma'am.
you're going to be getting an email from your officer to sign new conditions, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to advise your officer what the judge just advised on travel.
Okay.
So you'll be getting a travel permit that's good throughout Texas for a minimum of 60 days. Once
Okay.
that expires, then you're going to have to apply each time for travel permits again in the event that you come off of the scram device.
Okay, ma'am. I have whenever you're done, I had a question.
So look for that in your box and then also call your officer when you get out of jail and communicate with your officer. What is your question?
My question was, am I gonna be on scram and the blower, the
No.
smart start? Okay,
No.
that's a lot.
Once you get strapped on scram, the judge will sign an order to remove the smart start. Then you can turn that in, okay?
Okay.
If and when the judge takes you off of scram, you'll have to go back on smart start and you're gonna have to set alarms or do whatever to comply with all the times that you need to blow. And then, once you're active on smart start, then you can have your scram bracelet cut off.
Is there any way, I'm sorry to take y'all's time, too much of y'all's time. Is there any way we can put a little delay on the cat snip program due to the fact that I'm gonna be paying the scram and it's gonna put me back a bit? I believe that cat snip was relatively expensive, or it was lengthy, that I was told.
It is 8 weeks.
Okay,
And I don't think it's, the
If we
cost
can-
of, the cost of cat snip's only $125 and you pay
Okay.
at each visit.
Okay. That was my thing. If it was gonna be expensive, I was gonna ask for a small delay window where we all have an understanding of why I would be put off if it would. Okay, thank you.
Let me explain what I'm gonna do, Mr. Aleman, then you have any questions after I tell you what we're gonna do, then you ask them then, okay? So on clause 633-223, the court accepts Mr. Aleman's plea of true with an explanation to 14, 15, A, B, C, and not true with an explanation to 16 and 18. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation, or you continued on probation with all prior requirements with a sanction of 30 days in the Bexar County Jail, credit for time served, judgment satisfied, meaning you've already spent plus or minus 10 days in jail. I'm going to allow you the same 3-for-1 credit the sheriff might give you. So that's gone. We don't need to worry about that. You're getting out of jail today or tomorrow, whatever they let you out. I'm going to require substantial compliance within 30 days, which means any programs you haven't already gotten registered for, you need to be at least registered for them within 30 days. Whether you start or not, I don't know. But I want him to actually start the cat snip program as soon as possible. As Ms. Gross indicated, you just pay each time you go. You don't have to write them a check for $100 up front or anything that I'm aware of. Adding scram bracelet, we call it scram cam, within 10 days. As soon as the scram is active, we can turn in the Smart Start mobile device, which saves you that $100 a month. And we're recalling all pretrial services bond conditions. Susan, what did I forget?
I think you covered it all, Judge.
All right, Mr. Aleman, do you have any questions based on that?
No, sir.
Mr. Memori, is that okay?
Judge, we're fine. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Aleman. Thank you, Mr. Memori. You're excused.
Sir,
Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Just real quick, I'll try to be quick. Okay, so it's gonna be the scram, and the scram's gonna be for 60 days, and after that, it's gonna go back to Smart Start. The Smart Start's gonna be for 9 months out of the 18 months, or is it gonna be for the remaining term of it?
Here's how it works. Yeah. Are you on how long? Are you on 18-month probation period? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. You need to have some form of breath testing device for half that time. So that's 9
Okay.
months.
Okay, thank you.
In a perfect world, you know, if you don't miss any blows and you don't have any high blows with alcohol positives, then that's a good month. But if you miss blows or you have a positive for alcohol, that's a bad month. So I'm going to charge you another month. So it's up to you basically how well you do on how long you're on these devices.
Okay, thank you.
I'm ordering scram for a minimum of 60 days. If you do well in 60 days and there are no alcohol positives and you haven't taken your hacksaw and cut it off or anything colorful like that, then we're going to go back to the Smart Start mobile device at 4 blows a day, which is that gets you some sleep and whatnot. And then you do well on that. When the appropriate time frame comes up, when I see good in 9 months, I'll take you off all the devices.
Perfect,
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Pat.
Anything further?
Thank you.
No, Judge. Thank you.
Pat, do we have any other jail cases ready to go?
Your Honor, I've got 2 updates.
All right.
Stephen Buckley is tested positive. He will not be coming.
Poor Mr. Buck.
The other is Jonathan Flores has told his attorney, Ms. Voigt, that he has hired an attorney, Your Honor. Wants to know if she can be excused.
Who did he hire?
Jesse Hernandez, Your Honor.
Okay. Does
But I
Mr.
just
Hernandez know he's
received it.
hired?
I think my client says he gave him $1,500. So all
we
this
need-
happened yesterday.
We need to
I-
hear, I mean, A, there's no problem not having the hearing right now. If he in fact really
Okay.
did hire Mr. Hernandez, that's all good. We just need to hear from Mr. Hernandez. So Pat, at
Yes,
your
sir.
ability, call Mr. Hernandez and confirm that he represents him and just reset him on the next possible setting time.
Okay, so Ms. Voigt is excused as well as Mr. Flores to allow me to contact him. Is that correct?
Right, but we need basically confirmation from Mr. Hernandez that he is hired and he
Yes,
does represent.
I will
him.
call, Your Honor, as soon as I have a chance.
Okay, so
All right.
Mr. Flores is not in jail, right?
No, he's
No.
not. He's on
Okay, all
bond.
good.
Okay,
So Mr. Flores, just stay in contact with Mr. Hernandez and we'll let you know what we're gonna reset this thing for. It's probably gonna be next Thursday, if I were guessing,
yes.
which is the
19th, Your Honor,
19th.
at 10 o'clock.
Same time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when I guess we're gonna do this. I don't know. We'll need to hear from your attorney and see what he wants to do, okay?
Yes,
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Flores.
Thank you.
Ms. Voigt. Turn in your voucher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other, Mr. Hicks is in a breakout with the DA, Your Honor. They're discussing, so they're getting ready at this point, but everybody else seems to be ready, Your Honor. Everybody's here, so
Is Mr. Porter ready on Mr. Bo?
he is.
Judge,
Trey, am I pronouncing your client's name correctly? Is it Bo?
Yes, sir. That is correct, Judge.
All right.
Judge, one quick thing, Mr. Aleman, you are free to go, sir. And just make sure you touch base with your officer as soon as you get out of jail, okay?
Okay, okay, thank you.
So you can sign off.
Got it.
And have we got Mr. Alameda and Mr. Barrera on yet? Pat, your microphone's turned off.
Yes, Your Honor, they're here.
Okay. Batting order, we're going to start with Mr. Porter, Mr. Bo, then we're going to go to Mr. Alameda and Mr. Barrera. Squad 652-949, State of Texas versus Christopher Bo, represented by Mr. Trey Porter. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. As previously representing the state is Mr. Guillermo Flores and Ms. Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. Mr. Bo and Mr. Porter, I need you to identify your signatures on two documents. The first one entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Bo, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Porter, as attorney for Mr. Bo, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next document is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Bo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Porter, as attorney for Mr. Bo, is this also your signature?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Porter, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bo, in cause 652-949 on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Bo's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Bo has been reporting as directed. We last saw him on July 27th, 2021. He's paid $504 towards his fees. He has a balance of $842, and he is current at this time. He has completed 8 of his 24 hours of community service. He has had 1 positive for alcohol on the Smart Start mobile device at 0.019, and he's currently testing it 4 times a day. He's had 2 negative drug tests. We have no proof of completion of the Victim Impact Panel, CAT-SNP, or DWI intervention programs. This is his first violation report, first MTR. His prior arrests include possession of marijuana 0 to 2 ounces, DWI, and unlawful carrying of a weapon, which I believe was TIC'd with this case, and the instant offense. His officer is recommending that his Smart Start mobile device be increased to 6 times a day, and that he shows substantial compliance within the next 30 days.
Okay, Mr. Porter, what do you got that you'd like me to do?
Judge, just to supplement what Ms. Gross said, since this MTR was filed, Mr. Bo has been proactive, Judge. He has completed the DWI Victim Impact Panel course. My office will be emailing that certificate to Ms. Gross this morning. And he has been faithful with the CAT-SNP program. He signed up almost immediately. Mr. Bo's been on probation for approximately 2.5 months, Judge. He signed up immediately, and he's completed 6 of 8 courses with Dean over at CAT-SNP. We asked Judge for him to be continued on probation, and we'd like to close this and ask you to follow that.
State recommendation.
Your Honor, we recommend that the defendant be continued on probation, and we agree with probation's recommendation to increase.
Let me do a little writing here and we'll get y'all out of here.
Mr. Porter, if you would forward that to his probation officer, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, ma'am, I can do that. And Ms. Gross, do we have I remember pre-COVID, an MTR appearance would serve as the check-in with probation for the month. Is that what we're doing now, or do we have an appointment? Obviously with the MTR, there's been a warrant, so I don't know if we need to get something scheduled or if it would just be, we wait for contact for a September meeting.
He is going to call his officer when he gets done here, and he can discuss that with his officer. Actually, he had a appointment yesterday, which he missed.
Well, we obviously didn't go to the appointment yesterday, so he wouldn't be taken into custody.
Correct. So he can reach out to his officer and determine whether or not she wants to see him via Zoom or in person, or if she wants to accept this as a report for the month.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Gross.
Okay, Mr. Bowe and Mr. Porter, and clause 652-949, the court accepts Mr. Bowe's plea of true, denies the state's motion to revoke his probation. Orders probation continued with no sanction at this time. Although I have the authority to put Mr. Bowe in jail for 30 days to get his attention. Will that be necessary, Mr. Bowe?
No, sir. No,
Good
Your Honor.
answer, sir. Altering amending conditions, modifying his Smart Start Mobile from 4 blows a day to 6 blows a day within 24 hours. Trey, if he shows me a clean 30-day period of time at 6 blows a day without missing any blows and no high brax or alcohol, we'll crank him back down to 4 immediately. If he
Yes.
does that, I won't know he's done that. Mr. Bowe, you got to tell your attorney, he's got to tell me. I'll get it confirmed by probation, and then we'll crank you back down to 4 again, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Substantial compliance in all other areas within 30 days. It sounds like your attorney's already got you going on that. And we're looking good in all other areas. Recall all pretrial services, bond conditions, and warrants, which would probably be what Mr. Porter's not interested in.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Susan, what did I miss?
That's it. Mr. Bowe, you just need to contact your officer when you get out of here. Your conditions will be created and you'll receive them either later today or tomorrow. You can call your officer and let her know what transpired here today and discuss your appointment situation, okay?
Yes, Ms. Gross.
All right, you have a good day. Thank you,
Y'all are
Mr.
dismissed.
Porter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
That warrant's going to stay hot, Trey, for probably the rest of today. So just remind him to drive carefully or whatever he's doing.
Yes,
and
sir.
if he gets popped, let me know and we'll get him out as soon as we can. But in the meantime, I'm pulling it back, but it'll be this afternoon before they get information. They put it on the computer.
Yes, sir. I get it. I appreciate it, Judge. Have a good day,
No
sir.
sweat. Thanks. Are we ready on Mr. Alameda? Mr. Brer, are you with us? I got,
Looks like he has left the vehicle, Your Honor.
He was here.
all right.
Mr. Zamora is ready with his. Mr.
All
Green.
right, Mr. Zamora, are you ready on Mr. Galindo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Cause number 647-996, State of Texas versus Damon Galindo. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Once again, representing the state, Mr. Guillermo Flores and Ms. Megan Galloway, Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, representing the Air County CSCD, is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. Mr. Galindo and Mr. Zamora, I have 2 documents for you to identify your signatures on for me. The first one is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Galindo, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Zamora, as attorney for Mr. Galindo, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Galindo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Zamora, as attorney for Mr. Galindo, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes.
My understanding is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that accurate, Mr. Zamora?
Actually, we wanted to offer some explanations on 2 of the violations there.
Okay, well, he can plead either true or not true, and we'll just say with an explanation. If he's pleading not true, I just want to confirm he does not want a full-blown contested hearing on.
We don't need a full-blown contested hearing, Your Honor.
Right.
It's true with an explanation.
If you're willing to go to the court as the trier of fact on whatever's going on, you can plead not true and just do that, or you can plead true. Either way, it's going to be with an explanation, so you get plenty of time to explain whatever you're doing.
Okay.
All right. So, in clause number 647-996, Mr. Galindo, on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir? And that can be either true with an explanation or not true with an explanation. Doesn't bother me.
Mr. Galindo, you were going to plead true?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
is that correct, Mr. Galindo? You're going to be true with an explanation. Would that be accurate? Can you hear me, Mr. Galindo?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is that what you're going to plead true with an explanation to both these allegations?
Yes, Your Honor.
I guess there are 3 allegations. All right, all good. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Galindo's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Since being placed on probation, Mr. Galindo has missed 1 month of reporting, and we last saw him June 28th of 2021. He has paid $400 towards his fees. He has a balance of $533, and he's currently delinquent $58. He was not assessed any community service. He's had 1 positive drug test for marijuana, 2 negative drug tests, and we have no proof of completion of the stress class or the firearm safety course. He has no criminal history. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. His officer is recommending that he be placed on weekly drug testing and that he shows substantial compliance within the next 30 days.
Mr. Galindo, if I give you your analysis test this afternoon, are you going to come up positive for marijuana or any other creative substance?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good answer. Mr. Zamora, what are you requesting, please?
We're requesting that he be able to maintain his deferred status. And it's my understanding he has completed the classes. It just weren't done timely. Obviously, there's no good excuse for the hot UA.
I got my certificate.
He went on probation 19 March, and the positive for marijuana was on 24 May. So
Correct.
I'm just ensuring it's not a 30-day window from the time he went on probation where he tested positive. All right. Are we going to stop hanging out with our buddies and smoking marijuana, Mr. Galindo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, another great answer. All right, state recommendation.
Your Honor, the state agrees with probation's recommendation in this case.
All right, let me do some writing. We'll get you guys out of here.
Judge, just as a side note, he did do 2 years in the Army.
What did you do in the Army, Mr. Galindo?
I was infantry, Your Honor.
What unit were you with?
2-2 infantry. I was stationed down in Fort Polk.
Were you keeping Al Qaeda and the Taliban out of Fort Polk?
Yes, Your Honor.
I spent 39 months keeping the Russians out of North Carolina with the 82nd.
Oh, all American.
To this day, there are very few Russians in North Carolina due to my effort. Okay, let me do a little writing here. We'll get you out of here. Are you working, going to school? What are you doing, Mr. Galindo?
At the moment, I'm unemployed. I'm still recovering from a broken leg.
And did we determine he has not done the APSI course yet, but he's going to? Is that kind of where we're at?
Judge, I believe his attorney stated that he has done it, but hasn't turned in the certificate.
I emailed my first probation officer one of the certificates for the stress and anger course, and I have a copy of the certificate right here.
Okay, Mr. Galindo, on clause 647996, the court accepts your plea of true on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. That would be true with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation or you continued on deferred adjudication probation with all prior requirements and no sanction at this time. Although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. For the sake of conversation, I'm going to alter them in and add 48 hours of community service, but I'm going to probate all that based on your military service. So you don't have to do that. You've already done a bunch of military stuff. I'm going to alter them in, add the DOEP course to address the marijuana. I'm going to require substantial compliance in other areas within 30 days. Sounds like you're already doing that. And add weekly UAs. Show me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row. Mike, and I'll take him off of that, put him back on monthly UAs.
Okay, that's fine.
But I won't know he's done that. You have to let me know.
Okay.
And recall all pre-trial services bond conditions that we may have done. What did I miss, Susan?
Nothing. Mr. Galindo, you too will also be receiving an email from your officer with your amended conditions. You need to sign those conditions and send them back. She will be giving you a list of where you can take the drug offender education program. I would call and touch base with your officer when you get off, let them know what happened. And you should probably receive those conditions later this afternoon or tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You got any further questions, Mr. Galindo?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Your attorney saved you today. It's not going to happen again. Do good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thanks for your service, sir. Everyone.
Man,
Okay, all right here, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Mr. Hicks, are you ready to proceed on Ms. Gonzalez?
I am not, Your Honor. We have a problem.
Sure.
First, the first I heard of this hearing was in a note from Patricia on Tuesday. It says, Judge Christian was approached by a pretrial to approve a PR bond. So you received an email to set her on this docket in the Zoom Mtr hearing. I thought that meant this was going to be a bond hearing because she's received a PR bond on the prostitution charge. That's the felony. Now, as to the allegations in the MTR, we would be unable to plead on either of them because, well, we certainly couldn't plead on the first one, the prostitution, because she emphatically contests that happened. And I'm waiting for the tape from the vice squad to find that out. Those are not easy to get, but they do have them. And as far as failing to report an arrest on the 17th, she's been in jail since July 14th, Judge, and I have it on pretty good authority that the Bexar County Jail does not let people out to go report to probation.
That's pretty crafty, Mr. Hicks, getting your client to volunteer to go to jail just to get out of signing conditions. That's crafty. All right, that was a joke. I have no real intention of revoking Ms. Gonzalez, but I'll be happy to reset this for next Thursday. Would that give you all enough time?
Well, we're depending on the SAPD to produce something, which may or may not work.
Well, I think another problem is that Ms. Gonzalez was not interested in signing her bond conditions according to probation. And if that's going to be the case, then we're kind of wasting our time.
I don't. Where do you get that? I don't see that anywhere on the motion to vote.
Susan, what do you know about that? I guess this is on the new charge.
I'm looking it up right now, Judge.
It's under the justification on your sheet that shows priors and
Have you on the court
and
summary?
department recommendation, et cetera, et cetera.
Judge, she has never signed her conditions of probation.
On this
We
case,
can arrange that to happen.
okay, let me back up. On this particular case, she's on probation for, she's never signed her conditions of probation.
Correct.
Why isn't that alleged as another allegation?
I don't have that information for you, Judge. I would have to.
My
speak-
suggestion would be for you guys to amend and put on whatever bad things that allegedly Ms. Gonzalez has done, and we'll move along. But Bob, if you need, how much time? She's in jail. She's not going anywhere. How much time would you like? I mean, you can have 30 days. She's going to be sitting in jail 30 days. I don't know that she wants to do that.
Okay. Here's what I don't understand. If she's got a PR bond in the felony, why would she be ineligible for a PR bond on an MTR?
Because it's a motion to revoke probation, and it's my decision to remand her without bond, I'm guessing. This is not a deferred, right? This is just a straight motion to revoke probation. And this is a motion to revoke probation bond that you're talking about. And the law allows me to not give her a bond. And with her history, I don't think she's a real good candidate for a bond.
Her history is 5 years old, Judge.
Well, I can't carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, but I can tell you that the allegation is there's a brand new case pending, which is going to be a felony. Is that correct?
If the case exists.
So she allegedly committed a felony while she's on my misdemeanor probation, you know, which if it's true, and I don't know if it is or it isn't, is another problem. She's out, not on, I mean, if she's out on bond, she's committing more offenses. That doesn't help us any. So bottom line is, I'm just happy to resolve this case. If you and Miss Gonzalez want to go in a chat room and talk, but a key issue for the probation department and the state and me is she's got to be willing to go on probation. And apparently she's not. If she, I don't know if this is true. This is just what's wrong.
I wasn't on bond whenever all this happened.
I understand, ma'am. What they're saying, Miss Gonzalez, is that back in July of 2021, I guess, which was a whole month ago, you apparently had a Zoom meeting with your probation officer, and they wanted you to sign the conditions of this probation for ABI, assault bodily injury, and that they say you refused to sign the conditions of probation. That's what I'm hearing. That's all I know. I don't know any other facts about it.
They brought me in here and it was an orientation, and I said, well, how am I gonna sign an orientation? And if you're gonna revoke me because I'm in here right now, so that would be setting myself up for failure. So I said I would like to speak to somebody, and the lady was like, well, you're just denying to sign these papers. And I said, no. I said, because I don't, right now I am in, I'm currently here in jail. So for me to sign these papers, then you're gonna MTR me because I'm in jail. And she was like, okay, well, we'll just let you talk to your attorney about it. And that's all I've heard since yesterday when I was approached by my attorney, thank God, notifying me that I was gonna have a PR bond hearing today.
Mr. Hicks.
Gonzalez.
All right. This is not a PR. Everybody stop talking, please. Mr. Hicks, this is not a PR bond hearing. If you want to apply for a PR bond, I'm going to deny it based on her criminal record. But what I suggest to you, and we'll do whatever you want to do, but what I suggest to you is we reset this for next Thursday at 2:00, and that you go right now while we have Ms. Gonzalez present, you and Ms. Gonzalez go out in a chat room and y'all can talk about all this. But I think the biggest issue really we're looking at is she's not willing to go on probation because she won't sign her condition. If that's the case, I mean,
that was what I was about to ask her. That was what I was about to ask her, Your Honor. Ms. Gonzalez, if they present you with your bond, with your probation conditions today, will you sign them?
Yes, sir. I also have referrals for the mommy program and everything, sir. I was planning on going to ICP, leaving here. I have OSHAR referrals and everything. I am like, after 7 years, I relapsed and I matured out of a relapse, sir. I was supposed to, I got locked up on the 14th. On the 15th, I was supposed to start back at Luby's as a fry cook. I've been sober for 2 months. I've currently found out I was adopted after 38 years. I changed my total people, places, and things. I am not lying. I promise you, I am willing to do the probation. It would help me a lot more, get more in control of my life as far as
I'm sorry, go ahead,
CPS too. Sorry, as far as with my CPS too.
Okay, what did you relapse? What kind of drug problem have you been having that apparently is historical and been going on a long time?
I'm alcohol.
Alcohol? Nothing else?
Yes, I relapsed on meth in a 12-month period. I was actually addicted to crack cocaine for 15 years, and I relapsed. I meddled with meth like 3 times in a 12-month period, and some marijuana. But I've been in a relationship, and the last 4 months, we haven't even been associating right because of the fact that I matured out of my relapse, and I was trying to get him to mature out of his addiction with me. And it's not working.
Judge, if I may, the excuse that the defendant provided to the orientation officer was that upon her release from jail, she would be residing with someone that is on parole. And that is a violation of the conditions of probation. You cannot reside with someone who is on parole or that has a criminal record. And that is the reason that she gave for not signing the conditions of probation. So her residence is going to be an issue upon her release from jail.
I had a meeting with the Haven for Hope, and they accepted me, and I have an OSHAR referral and a mommy program referral. So the jail gave me a referral also, the PR bond to go. So the man, Todd, he came over and he told me, day or night, you get released, please go over to the Haven for Hope, and we tell me it's a safe place to stay, and give him the referral numbers, and he gave me the referral numbers. I have them back in the unit. I am not messing. I'm too old to be going through this. It's been 5 years, and I apologize for my mistakes. And I am planning to go back to Luby's, or I was the manager at Subway Almost Park for 3 years, either one. Prior to this, where I messed up was taking the unemployment because of the coronavirus and not keeping busy. Yeah, I apologize, sir. I should have signed the paperwork, but I did not greatly understand like a lot of
Ms.
things.
Gonzalez, we've resolved the issue on the paperwork. She's willing to sign her conditions now, Your Honor, since we've resolved the residence issue.
Since we're getting all the
I understand her rationale for not wanting to sign it at the time, if the fact that she was living with somebody was going to violate the conditions of her probation. That's apparently now been resolved. She's changing her residence to Haven for Hope, where they will also have a treatment program.
And that's wonderful. Now, let's talk about another issue. She mentioned she's got an ongoing historical drug problem. This is her big chance. If she wants to volunteer, I'm not going to order her out of the blue to go to inpatient treatment, then we can talk about that. I don't know if medically she can get in or not. That's up to the probation guys. But if she wanted to volunteer and do that, I'm sure that would look good to the felony court. Otherwise, I'm just going to put her on an outpatient drug program while she's with us, if she decides she wants to stay on probation with us.
She does.
Sorry.
Haven for Hope has an inpatient program. Is that correct, Your Honor?
I have no idea.
Yes, as soon as I do my OSHAR assessment, with the mommy program, they will decide, if I would do inpatient or outpatient, but I currently would like, I told them, my CPS worker, I would do inpatient because of the fact to get myself situated and get away from the people, places and things. And so I can get more accommodated and more situated and just stay away from everybody and concentrate on me again.
Okay, so I didn't understand exactly. Is she volunteering to go to inpatient, or what is Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
She is volunteering to go to inpatient, correct?
Yes.
All right, wonderful.
Judge, I believe she's volunteering to go to the inpatient program that the Haven for Hope is offering, not through the probation department.
What's the difference?
One is through us and one is through Haven for Hope.
Well,
we have control of one and they have control of the other.
The one I'm offering is where I have control and I can make a phone call and find out how she's doing. And I can't do that with Haven for Hope, but I can certainly do that with the adult probation department.
Well, Judge, if she's an inpatient, it's not, you shouldn't have to worry about making phone calls because she's going to be in custody.
Okay, we need to have a quality inpatient program. I don't know anything about Haven for Hope. It could be wonderful. I don't know anything about it. Ms. Gross can make a phone call and find out all about it. The minimum time in Bexar County at the substance abuse treatment facility or the mental illness offender treatment facility is going to be 120 days. And that's what I would order, a minimum time of 120 days.
I can do the outpatient, sir. I'm currently been clean for the last 2.5 months.
Ms. Gonzalez, did they tell you how long the inpatient was at Haven for Hope? I've never heard of an inpatient.
It's a mommy program, and it's 90 days. It's 4 months, they said. 4 months.
And do they lock you down and you can't leave, or what?
Yes, sir. I can't leave. Nothing. It's 4 months.
It's 120 days, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, bottom line is I'll be happy to evaluate that. But once again, the key issue that Ms. Gross is going to point out for me is we have no control over that program. We can't find out how she's doing or if she's still there or she crawled out a window. We don't know because we don't have any control over a program that we don't have as part of our probation department. That's my problem. I think it's wonderful she wants to get rehabbed. I think everybody's on the team on that. We're all on her side on that one.
I promise y'all I will complete. It's just, I kind of shut down after 38 years finding out you're adopted. And it's just, I was doing good and I was sober and I just had a couple of drinks and
All right. Well, my offer to Ms. Gonzalez and to Mr. Hicks at this time is I will not revoke her. I'll continue her. I think that she's going to have a very difficult time succeeding, but I would love to be wrong and I hope she succeeds. I think it's a wonderful thing. She's volunteering for inpatient alcohol rehabilitation, whatever, and we'll help her everywhere we can. I can't promise her I'm going to let her go to the Haven for Hope inpatient, but she's already in jail. She'll get her medical evaluation while she's still in jail for SATF and or MIOP, whichever one she qualifies for. What are you doing, Ms. Gonzalez? What does that mean?
because my off is like 5 months. I have to like there's girls in here that are sitting here 5-6 months just to get there.
All right. The alternative would be just to revoke her. And what has she got? An ABI, so she'd have what, a maximum year in jail? What is her underlying, Susan? Do we know? Probably a year, huh?
9 months.
It's 1
Yeah.
year, Your Honor.
Okay. He's got an underlying 9 months, 1 year, but she's on probation for 9 months. That's what's going on. All right, Mr. Hicks, over to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to have a hearing today? Do you want to have a hearing next week? Would you like to just reset it for next week with the understanding if you need longer, you just tell Pat and we put it off longer? The ball's in your court, whatever you want to do.
I would like to ask a question of the probation department.
Yes, sir.
What's the wait list for SATF look like right now?
I am looking that up right now.
Last I heard, it was 2 weeks for medical clearance and then right into a bed. I don't think Ms. Gonzalez really wants to do that. She's talking about it, but in her heart, she doesn't really want to go get locked up for 4 months to do rehab. Does that sound right, Ms. Gonzalez? Yeah.
Actually,
And nobody does. This isn't just.
No. I do, sir. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I am a survivor, victim of family violence, and her dad came back from Mexico, and he started stalking me and stuff again. And I reached out to Elite program, and instead of helping me, they put me on a safety plan and all kinds of stuff. And my baby girl needs me. She needs me. Like, I've had her by myself. She's gonna be 4 next month. Like, I've had her by myself her whole life. Like, with no help from nobody. No grandma, no grandpa, nobody. And it's very hard on her. I promise y'all. Like, I will do my probation. Give me a chance. Like, there's some people that have been on probation for almost a year and still haven't completed. I haven't even been on probation for like a week. Like, I will, ma'am. I promise you, Ms. Gross. I haven't even met. Are you my probation officer?
No, ma'am.
That's what I don't understand, Miss. Like, please give me a chance. Like, I've been sober. Like, the only thing that I would come out there for is marijuana, and it's like
You're
it's
not
30
accused
days.
of failure to be sober, Ms. Gonzalez. Please,
And-
you're digging yourself a hole. Quit talking.
Judge, if I may,
Sure.
the wait list is gonna be 4 weeks after medical and legal clearance for MIOF, and then SATF, there's no wait. However, because she has a pending case, they're probably not gonna take her right away.
All
They're
right.
not gonna take her until they clear that.
Here's how that works. Who was the felony judge involved in this, Bob? Do you know?
Yes, it's the 175th, Judge Stahl.
All right. All we have to do is get Judge Stahl's permission to let her go to inpatient, meaning that they won't pull her out of inpatient to bring her over for any kind of a hearing scenario, and then they'll take her, because I've done that for the last 18 years. But that is the general rule. You're accurate. So it's still possible. It's up to Judge Stahl. And I guarantee you she'll be happy if Ms. Gonzalez volunteered to go to inpatient. Judge Stahl would be ecstatic.
Reset us for a week, Your Honor, and let me see what I can explore.
Would you like to go into a breakout room with Ms. Gonzalez right now while you have her?
Yes.
All right. Pat, can you do that, please? Pat, oh, here she is.
Be able to go into 4. There you go.
Okay. So let's defer that one. I've got Mr. Aliman.
I think we're still looking for Mr. Barrera on Mr. Alameda.
Yes, sir. Tony Alameda. Oh, sorry, it's Alameda, Your Honors. I put the wrong name.
Why do we have Mr. Aliman with us today?
No, it's Alameda.
It's Mr. Alameda, Your Honor. I renamed it wrong.
Ah, okay. And so do we have Mr. Barrera with us?
He was. Right now, we just have the ceiling of his car.
There you go. I fixed it, Your Honor.
And what happened to Mr. Buckley?
Mr. Buckley, Your Honor.
Oh, he had the plague. I'm sorry.
He's in quarantine.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Okay. I see Mr. Barrera, Your Honor.
Oh, there he is.
He's muted.
Mr. Barrera, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Alameda?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. This is cause 650-834, State of Texas versus Tony Alameda, represented by Mr. Roy Barrera Jr. Representing the state, our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys Guillermo Flores and Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. The first 2 documents I need Mr. Barrera and Mr. Alameda to identify their signatures on. The first is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Alameda, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Alameda, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Alameda?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Alameda, is this also your signature on this document?
It is.
I'm now looking at a motion to revoke community supervision, cause number 650-834. Mr. Barrera, I'm told this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Mr. Alameda, in cause 650-834 on the motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
He pleads true, Judge.
Okay, court accepts the plea of true with an explanation. Ms. Gross,
Yes,
would you
sir.
please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Alameda's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Alameda has done well on probation. Last time we saw him was July 19th, 2021. He's paid $435 towards his fees. He has a balance of $1,001, and he is current at this time. We have no record of him completing any of his 48 hours community service, and we have no proof of completion of the victim impact panel, CATSNP, or DWI intervention programs. He has had 1 negative drug test and 4 skip tests. And he has prior arrests for theft, 20 to 200 shoplifting, a DWI, and then this instant offensive DWI. His officer is requesting that we increase Smart Start to 6 times a day and that you extend his Smart Start mobile device an additional 3 months.
Okay, Mr. Barrera, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, I would like for Mr. Alameda just to bring the court up to date on what he has completed for the record so that he's not charged twice for having failed to complete his community service. And I
Mr.
believe he
Alameda?
has proof.
Mr. Alameda, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Barrera, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Alameda, would you please inform the court what you have completed to date, sir?
Yes, I have the community service completion paper. I was supposed to meet with my probation on the 16th of this month. I was waiting for the 16th to give her this paper and the classes that I've been taking that the court wanted me to take. I've been going to the classes on Saturdays, and it's been already 4 weekends that I've been going to. And this is the paper that they gave me my first day. Every Saturday that I go, they give me one of these sheets saying that I was there.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court you've done and completed?
The thing, I've just been going to classes now.
What about the victim impact panel? Have you been to the victim impact panel?
Yes, I have that, the one that I have to blow on it. Those 4 times that I missed, I think two of those was when I was doing the community service. I couldn't go out of the work area to go blow on the monitor. But I'm doing whatever the court wants me to do, and I'm applying to whatever needs to be done.
Thank you, Judge.
State, do you have any questions for Mr. Alameda?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. Confirm for me, one of the allegations on the motion to revoke community supervision is that Mr. Alameda allegedly failed to obtain the Smart Start mobile device within 5 days. And that was like June 24, 21. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is active on Smart Start mobile today. Is that correct?
Yes, he is, Your Honor, and he has skipped 4 tests since he finally obtained his device, but he definitely did not obtain that device in a timely manner.
Okay, but he's active on it today. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
That's not a problem. And then while we're doing the rest of this stuff, Mr. Barrera, I got a travel request from you, which I initially denied for Mr. Alameda because he had this MTR pending, but we're going to resolve that shortly. And what's going on with Mr. Alameda? It sounds like he's the margarita man or something. He's got to travel around the state with all this margarita equipment. Is that what you said in your motion?
Not exactly, but kinda.
I'm not inferring he's drinking it, but he's supposed to be working with it or something.
Sure.
He is seeking employment wherever he can find it, and sometimes that is out of county, but it's all within the state of Texas. His wife is scheduled for a knee replacement. He's behind on his mortgage, and he's struggling financially, and so he is really hustling for work and going wherever he can find it in order to pay the bills. And that's his only reason for asking the court to travel, is to work.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and after we finish here today, obviously, we're not going to revoke Mr. Almeida. I'll let him travel. If it's an overnight thing, he needs to get permission from the probation officer and take a UA when he comes back. If it's not an overnight thing, then I'm just going to let him travel carte blanche in Texas. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So state recommendation on Mr. Alameda?
Your Honor, we agree with probation's recommendation to increase the testing and extend the term. We do recommend that you continue, Mr. Alameda, and we also recommend substantial compliance within 30 days. But it sounds like that documentation just needs to be provided.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Alameda, on cause 650-834, the court accepts your plea of truth and explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your community supervision, order your community supervision continued with no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary, sir?
No, sir.
Good answer, sir. Okay, altering and amending conditions, modifying your Smart Start mobile device from 4 blows a day to 6 blows a day within 24 hours of right now or whenever they get the word. Once he shows me, Roy, a 30-day period of time at 6 blows a day where we haven't missed any blows and we have no positives for alcohol, I'll crank him back down to 4 blows a day. But I won't know he's done that. You, Mr. Alameda, you got to let Mr. Barrera know. He'll let me know. I'll get it confirmed through probation and we'll crank you back down to 4 again.
Thank you, Judge.
With regard to travel, you're going to be allowed, you're authorized to travel anywhere in Texas for work, as long as it's not overnight without having to consult with your probation officer each time or me to get permission. However, if you are going to spend the night, you need to go through your probation officer and I'll give you permission, but you're going to take a urinalysis test when you get back. That's kind of the big difference.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to extend him anymore at this time. He's under a year requirement. We've got plenty of time to extend him if we need to. Substantial compliance. I think Mr. Barrera's already got him heading in the right direction. Any programs that you haven't done or haven't signed up for, you need to be signed up for within 30 days. Is he active in this CatSnip thing? What's our status on CatSnip?
Judge, I believe he said that he is. Mr. Alameda, are you going to CatSnip? Is that the class you're attending on Saturdays?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Judge, he's attending CatSnip.
Then we're good. Susan, what did I miss?
That's it.
Roy, what did I miss?
You got it covered, Judge. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Judge, I
Alameda.
think Mr. Alameda wants to say something.
Go ahead, Mr. Alameda. I'm sorry.
On one of the deliveries that I'm gonna do, it's going toward Midland to deliver the clothes. That's what Margarita, they call it the Margarita Trunk Show. Because at the store, I deliver the clothes. That's what they call it at. And one day I'm gonna drive to Midland from Corpus, and I'm gonna have to spend one night and then come back the next day. Would that be okay, sir?
Well, it's okay, but you got to get permission to do that. And I'll give you permission to do that. I just need to know when you're doing overnight stuff because I'm going to want you to take a UA when you come back within 24 hours.
Sure,
But
yes, sir.
if you go somewhere, I mean, if you drive, it's a long drive. If you were to drive to Midland and come back the same day, then I wouldn't require you to get permission specifically for that trip. But anything overnight, you got to get permission for, but I'll give you permission if you got a valid work reason for it.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Alameda, what day are you going on that trip?
It's the last, they gave me a schedule, which I don't have it in front of me, but it's the last, I think it's in September.
Okay, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to give your officer that date,
Okay,
and she's gonna have to issue you a travel permit. I will let your officer know that you have permission to travel one time to Midland in September. So you're gonna have to get a piece of paper from her, and then when you come back, you're gonna have to do an ETGUA,
yes, ma'am, I will.
okay?
Yes,
And you'll be getting paperwork from your officer within the next, well, either this afternoon or in the morning. You need to sign that and send it back, okay?
Okay, I have a meeting with her on the 16th, I think.
Okay, all right, but you're gonna get an email and you're gonna need to sign that paperwork. And I would also call your officer when you're done today and let her know what happened and that you're gonna need to sign those conditions as soon as I get them printed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. You're all yours, Judge.
All right.
Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Barrera?
I'm good to go, Judge. Thank you.
All right, y'all are out of here. Thanks for your help. Thank you, Mr. Alameda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hicks, what do you want to do with Ms. Gonzalez now?
All right. When I was talking to her, she raised a question. She has a CPS case involving her 4-year-old daughter that she had mentioned. If she gets locked up for 120 days, she's going to lose the CPS case and possibly lose her child. Hopefully, the court is not interested in that happening.
Best thing we can do for her child is get her off of alcohol, apparently, according to Ms. Gonzalez's testimony.
Well, I understand. I would appreciate it if the court would consider her giving her a chance on outpatient treatment so she can fight the CPS thing and keep her child.
That was my original offer, so that's not a problem. I just pounced on it when Ms. Gonzalez said she would be willing to do inpatient, and I said, great, let's do that. Now, now she's reconsidered, and that's perfectly understandable.
Were it not for the CPS problem, she would be more than happy to do it because inpatient is going to be more secure.
My suggestion is we give you a week to get ready for this next hearing thing, or we can do it right now if y'all want to waive it. My still concern is, and I'm sure it's the state's and probation's concern is she's not willing to sign her conditions of probation. If she's now willing to sign her conditions of probation, we're making progress.
We have agreed twice so far in this hearing to sign her conditions of probation if they'll just get them to her. She was unwilling to sign them at the time because she didn't want to she didn't want to set herself up for failure because she was immediately in violation of her conditions of probation if she signed them because the person with whom she lived was on parole. Now that she's going to Haven for Hope, that's resolved. So she has no problem signing her conditions.
Well, just for the record, not signing conditions is another violation. The textbook solution is you don't live with a convicted felon, which is a violation of her probation, and you sign the condition. So I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with it because that's not the law. So that being said, that's what here's what I want to do, Mr. Hicks. Do you want to have a hearing today or do you want to do it next Thursday? What would you rather do? It's up to you.
Next Thursday, so I can get my ducks in a row. Meanwhile,
all right.
Oh, I don't know.
Can I please just have a chance, sir? I can't lose my daughter. My mom, nobody will help me with her. She has no one else. Like right now, like she's being fostered by one of my cousins. Like, and my little girl, she thinks I'm at the hospital getting help. And I promise you, sir, I will not. Man, if I let you down, you can throw me 2 years. I promise you, just don't do this. I mean,
She's willing to. Judge.
Yep.
You had offered to allow her to do outpatient treatment. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I will take that.
Let's go ahead with the hearing and we'll plead true to. I guess we plead true with an explanation to failure to report the arrest, but we cannot plead true on the prostitution charge because that would screw up her defense and count.
Certainly understand. Did you do fill out the 2 documents that Pat can send you or has already sent you? And we'll just stand by until you're finished.
You have them, Your Honor? I sent them to you.
All right.
I've signed them and sent them back.
2-minute break while I get all that figured out. Stand by.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, I have a quick question for you. What is your email address?
I currently don't have a phone right now, but I will, like, I'm seriously, like, I'm getting released here and I'm walking across the street because I have a referral for the mommy program and everything.
No, I'm talking about you have to go through orientation and they're gonna notify you via email.
As soon as I get out, I will get a phone. I will get one of those, because I guess the free phones. I had an email address, Catherine Gonzalez, 1082@gmail.com. I currently do not, I'm like leaving everything behind. Like I am, I am. Like after a year of being with somebody, no, nothing has been accomplished, but drama.
All right, Mr. Hicks, that's gonna take time. So let's make this agreement right here, right now. As soon as Ms. Gonzalez gets out of jail, she needs to walk across the street to the probation department and get her orientation set up on her own. If she fails to do that, as soon as she gets out of jail,
it's going to be another MTR.
Exactly. Now, if you don't get out until 10 o'clock tonight, obviously that's not going to work because probation is closed. Then you need to go over there in person, 207 North Comal at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay? Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I promise you, ma'am. I cannot let my daughter down. Like I can't let y'all down.
And then as soon as you get your phone and all that, then you're going to need to give your officer the email address that you'll be using and all of that. Okay.
She may not have that by 9 o'clock.
No, I don't care.
That's not what I said, Mr. Hicks. I said, as soon as you get it, you will need to give it to your officer. But tomorrow, if she's not out by like 4 o'clock today, which that ain't gonna happen. So just plan on reporting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to the probation department.
Okay, and,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gonzalez, I don't have you signing the paperwork.
She hasn't signed the paperwork. That was going to be what I was going to ask next. Can we get an officer in there to get her screen shared so that we can sign the paperwork? It's
Okay,
gonna be 2 signatures. It shouldn't take very long.
yeah, if she can get it, that's up to her to call the officer.
Pat, I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir, very much, Mr. Hicks.
You
Thank
got
you.
it.
Thank you, Ms.
We'll have some
Benavides,
paperwork for
Ms.
you to sign
Galloway.
in just a few minutes.
Okay, so do I need to put you in a breakout room again?
I'm afraid so, just for a second.
Okay.
Now you can talk. She's here for me to sign the paperwork.
Okay, I'm sending you to 1. Go into the breakout room with your attorney.
I'm back.
Okay.
You gonna leave us on YouTube or pause?